There are moments in life when your heart feels heavy for no clear reason. You wake up thinking, why is this happening to me? You try your best, you make dua, you remain patient, yet things still don't move the way you expected. You may feel lost, confused, or even forgotten. But pause for a moment. What if this very moment, right now, is not random? What if you listening to these words is not a coincidence? What if this is your sign from Allah today? Many people are waiting for dramatic miracles, loud answers, or sudden changes. But Allah often speaks in quieter ways. He speaks through delays, closed doors, unanswered prayers, and even through the struggles you wish would end. The reason you must listen until the very end is this. One realization today may completely change how you see your pain, your patience, and your purpose. Life was never meant to be easy all the time. If it were, faith would have no meaning. When Allah puts you through difficulty, it is not to break you, it is to build you. Sometimes Allah removes what you love to give you what you truly need. Sometimes He delays what you want to protect you from what you cannot see. And sometimes He allows your heart to be tested so it can grow closer to Him. Think about the moments when things didn't work out, the job you didn't get, the relationship that ended, the plan that collapsed. At that time, it felt like loss. But look again, did Allah not replace it with something better? Or did He save you from something harmful? Allah's wisdom operates beyond human understanding. What you call rejection, Allah calls protection. When Allah is silent, it does not mean He is absent. Silence is often a test of trust. It is easy to believe when things go well. True faith is shown when you continue to trust Allah, even when the path is unclear, even when tears fall in sujood, even when your heart asks questions. Your tongue dares not speak. Your struggle is not a punishment. It is a message to slow down, a message to return to Allah, a message to detach from what distracted you. Sometimes Allah shakes your world so you remember who truly controls it. If you are feeling weak today, know this: Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. The strength you need is already within you because Allah placed it there. Every hardship carries a lesson, and every lesson carries mercy. This is your sign from Allah today. Do not give up. Do not lose hope. Do not think your du'as are unheard. What is written for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never written for you. Trust the timing, trust the process, trust Allah. Every single moment of your life is moving under the command, knowledge, and wisdom of Allah. Even when it feels chaotic, confusing, or completely out of control. We often assume that guidance only exists when things are clear, smooth, and comfortable. But in reality, divine guidance is most active during moments of uncertainty. When you feel lost, when your plans fall apart, when nothing makes sense, those are not signs of abandonment. Those are signs that Allah is guiding you in a way your limited vision cannot yet understand. Human beings see only what is in front of them. We judge events based on immediate outcomes, emotional reactions, and short-term results. Allah, however, sees the entire journey from beginning to end. He knows where every path leads, what every choice produces, and what every experience shapes within your soul. When something happens in your life that you did not expect, it does not mean Allah has lost control. It means control was never in your hands to begin with. What feels like randomness is actually precision. What feels like delay is perfect timing. Many people question their worth when life does not go according to plan. They ask themselves why doors are closing, why effort is not producing results, or why prayers seem unanswered. But guidance does not always come in the form of success or ease. Sometimes guidance comes as redirection. Allah may close a door you are desperately trying to open because behind it is harm, regret, or a path that would distance you from Him. At the same time, He may open another door you never considered, one that brings you closer to peace, growth, and faith. There are moments when Allah guides you without you realizing it. He places discomfort in your heart towards something you once loved. He makes a situation feel heavy even though it looks perfect on the surface. He allows obstacles to rise not to punish you, but to slow you down. That uneasy feeling, that repeated hesitation, that sudden change of direction, these are all forms of guidance. They are subtle, quiet, and deeply personal, but they are intentional. Sometimes Allah guides you by allowing you to fall. A failure can teach you humility. A loss can teach you detachment. A hardship can awaken a heart that was drifting away. If everything always worked in your favor, you might never look up. You might never make sincere dua. You might never recognize your dependence on Allah. Through difficulty, Allah reshapes priorities, purifies intentions, and strengthens reliance on Him alone. It is important to understand that divine guidance is not always comfortable. Growth rarely is. When Allah guides you away from something, it may hurt. When He guides you toward patience, it may exhaust you. When He guides you through trials, it may break you before it builds you. But nothing in that process is wasted. Every moment of patience is recorded. Every tear shed in private is seen. Every time you choose faith over despair, your heart is elevated. There are times when you only recognize Allah's guidance in hindsight. You look back at a painful chapter and realize it saved you. You see that a rejection protected you. You understand that a delay prepared you. What once felt like confusion becomes clarity. What once felt like loss becomes mercy. This is why trust is essential, even when understanding is absent. Faith is not about having all the answers. It is about believing in the one who does. If Allah has placed you in a situation you do not understand today, do not rush to label it as bad. Do not compare your journey to others. Your path is uniquely designed for your soul. Allah knows what you need to learn, what you need to unlearn, and what you need to become. The timing, the struggles, and the turns in your life are all aligned with a wisdom far greater than your emotions in the moment. Remember this deeply. Allah has never stopped guiding you, not for a single second. Even in your mistakes there is guidance. Even in your confusion there is direction. Even in your weakness there is divine care. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are being led, step by step, moment by moment, towards something better, even if you cannot see it yet. Trust that guidance because it comes from the one who knows you better than you know yourself. Allah communicates with His servants in ways far beyond what we often expect. Many people assume that divine messages come only in grand, unmistakable miracles. But the truth is that Allah's signs are woven into the fabric of everyday life. They are subtle, quiet, and sometimes almost imperceptible, yet they carry many. NGS that, if recognized, can transform hearts, redirect lives, and strengthen faith. Understanding this is essential, because waiting only for dramatic signs can cause a person to miss countless opportunities to connect with Allah's guidance. The small, ordinary moments in life, the ones we take for granted, often contain the very signs we are searching for. Consider how Allah may guide someone through feelings, coincidences, or gentle reminders in daily routines. Perhaps a repeated thought or persistent unease is, in fact, a nudge towards self-reflection, prayer, or change. Maybe an obstacle or a closed door is a protective measure, keeping you away from harm you cannot yet perceive. Signs do not always shout, sometimes they whisper. And those whispers are meant to awaken awareness, prompting believers to pause, reflect, and adjust their course according to divine wisdom. A crucial aspect of recognizing Allah's signs is understanding that not all guidance is immediate. Sometimes signs come slowly, through patterns in life that only make sense in retrospect. A missed opportunity may later reveal itself as protection. An unexpected failure might turn out to be the reason you avoid a far greater disaster. Allah's timing is perfect, and His methods are precise. By tuning into these subtle messages, a believer can navigate life with patience, gratitude, and confidence, knowing that even when outcomes are unclear, divine guidance is at work. Signs from Allah often carry lessons about the condition of the heart. For example, persistent unease about a particular decision or path may indicate that it is not aligned with your spiritual well-being. Repeated reminders from the Qur'an, hadith, or personal reflection can serve as gentle guidance, helping a believer to focus on the right priorities. Even interactions with other people can be forms of guidance, steering a person away from harmful relationships or encouraging engagement with those who foster growth and virtue. Recognizing these forms of communication requires attentiveness, mindfulness, and sincerity in seeking Allah's pleasure. Importantly, Allah's signs are also intertwined with tests. Sometimes what appears to be a sign is accompanied by challenge or hardship, pushing the believer to rely on faith rather than certainty. For instance, a delay in a goal or a period of difficulty may serve as both a test of patience and a sign to reorient one's life toward gratitude, humility, and reliance on Allah. In this way, signs are not merely informational, they are transformative. They guide not only actions but also the inner state of the believer, shaping character, strengthening trust, and cultivating resilience. Many people miss these signs because they look for evidence only in external events or extraordinary phenomena. They may pray for a clear answer, and when it does not arrive in the expected form, feel abandoned or frustrated. Yet Allah's communication transcends the material and the visible. A quiet feeling, a recurring thought, a pattern of events, or a sudden insight can be just as powerful as a miracle. These signs are often more enduring than momentary miracles because they teach observation, reflection, and awareness, qualities essential for spiritual growth. Recognizing and understanding these signs requires humility, patience, and a willingness to listen to the subtle language of life. Another critical aspect is that Allah's signs often aim to encourage action and personal accountability. They are not passive or random. They are invitations to respond, adjust, and strive for better alignment with divine guidance. When a believer recognizes a sign, it should spark reflection and decision-making. Should you change your approach? Should you seek forgiveness, give charity, or reconnect with family? Should you adjust your mindset, habits, or intentions? Signs call for engagement with life consciously, reminding us that faith is not static but active, dynamic, and responsive. Finally, understanding that Allah communicates through signs fosters gratitude and mindfulness. Life is filled with moments that could be seen as routine. But when viewed through the lens of divine guidance, even ordinary events become meaningful. The sunrise, the kindness of a stranger, the sudden opportunity, the feeling of relief after hardship, all are reminders that Allah is attentive, that He cares, and that His wisdom is present in every detail of existence. A believer who recognizes these signs becomes attuned to the interconnectedness of life, seeing purpose and direction even when the path is unclear. In conclusion, Allah communicates with His creation constantly, not always through miracles but through the subtleties of life, the lessons hidden in trials, and the quiet nudges of conscience and circumstance. Recognizing these signs requires attentiveness, reflection, and trust, but doing so opens the door to profound spiritual awareness and transformation. By learning to see these signs, believers gain guidance in their decisions, clarity in their struggles, and assurance that Allah is always near, shaping their path with wisdom, love, and mercy. The ability to notice and act upon these signs strengthens faith, nurtures patience, and aligns life with the divine purpose that governs all existence. Life is full of moments that feel confusing, frustrating, or painful. And often in those moments, we wonder why Allah allows certain things to happen. We question why doors close, why prayers seem unanswered, or why circumstances do not move according to our desires. Yet, these very experiences, these moments of delay, silence, and even suffering, can be powerful mess. Sages from Allah, carefully crafted for our growth and guidance. Understanding that hardships and delays carry meaning changes how we perceive life itself. What we often see as obstacles are, in reality, divine lessons wrapped in experiences that refine our character, strengthen our patience, and deepen our connection to Allah. Delays are one of the most common ways Allah communicates with His servants. We often pray for something urgently, perhaps a goal, a relationship, or a resolution to a problem, and when it doesn't arrive immediately, we feel disheartened. But the delay itself can be a sign. It can be an indication that what we are asking for at this time may not be best for us. Allah's wisdom surpasses human understanding, and the timing of His blessings is always perfect. Something we see as a postponement may be an act of protection, keeping us away from harm or guiding us toward something far better than what we had envisioned. Sometimes the very thing we desire may have consequences we cannot foresee, and the delay ensures that we are spared unnecessary suffering. Silence is another profound way Allah communicates. There are moments when we pray earnestly, seeking answers or relief, and it seems as if no response comes. The silence can be disconcerting, even painful, yet it carries meaning. Silence often tests our trust in Allah. It challenges us to continue believing, continue striving, and continue relying on Him, even when evidence of divine intervention is not apparent. This silence also encourages reflection and self-examination. It invites us to consider whether our desires are aligned with what is best for our spiritual and worldly well-being. Sometimes the absence of an immediate answer is the clearest message we could receive, a call to patience, to perseverance, and to humility. Pain and difficulty are also vital messages from Allah. Human being, yin-gs naturally avoid pain, yet it is often in the most difficult moments that we are closest to Allah. Pain sharpens our awareness, awakens empathy, and pushes us to seek refuge in Him. Struggles and suffering can redirect our focus from temporary worldly distractions to eternal spiritual priorities. They teach us reliance, resilience, and gratitude. While hardship may feel overwhelming in the moment, it can leave behind a legacy of strength, insight, and faith. Recognizing the hidden purpose in trials transforms our relationship with life's challenges. Instead of seeing them as arbitrary misfortunes, we start seeing them as carefully designed opportunities for growth and purification. Sometimes these messages from Allah arrive through the outcomes of events rather than the events themselves. For example, a plan that fails may be a blessing in disguise, preventing us from experiencing harm or disappointment that we cannot yet comprehend. A relationship that ends may free us from unseen consequences and open the door to new opportunities and better companionship. Even the most unexpected turns in life often carry wisdom that becomes apparent only in hindsight. This is why patience and reflection are crucial. It is essential to train ourselves to look beyond immediate discomfort and to trust that Allah's guidance is embedded in every aspect of our lives. Understanding the messages behind delay, pain, and silence also nurtures gratitude and trust. When we begin to see that every challenge carries intention, every setback contains wisdom, and every silence is a call to trust, we start living with greater awareness. Gratitude emerges not only for blessings, but also for tests and trials, because they remind us of Allah's constant presence and care. Trust deepens because we understand that there is a reason behind everything we experience and nothing reaches us without divine purpose. The believer who recognizes this grows in patience, perseverance, and spiritual maturity, learning to navigate life with hope, faith, and resilience. In essence, every delay, every pain, and every silent moment is a message, a lesson, and a call to trust in Allah's perfect plan. These experiences are not meaningless, they are deliberate forms of guidance. They push us to reflect, to grow, and to maintain faith, even when the path seems uncertain. When a believer begins to interpret life's challenges as messages rather than punishments, they cultivate a mindset of awareness, gratitude, and resilience. What once seemed like hardship becomes an instrument of divine wisdom, shaping the heart, strengthening faith, and drawing one closer to Allah. Recognizing and embracing these messages transforms our perspective entirely, allowing us to navigate life with hope, trust, and unwavering patience, confident that every moment is part of a plan far greater than our understanding. Trusting Allah during times of confusion is one of the most profound acts of faith a believer can undertake. Life is unpredictable, filled with uncertainties, unexpected challenges, and moments when our plans do not unfold as we hoped. In such times, it is natural to feel anxious, frustrated, or overwhelmed. However, these moments of confusion are also opportunities for spiritual growth. When we place our trust fully in Allah, even without knowing the outcome, we demonstrate true reliance on Him. This reliance is not passive, it is an active, conscious choice to surrender control to the one who knows all things, the one who sees beyond our limited understanding. Human beings are conditioned to seek certainty. We want clear answers, guaranteed results, and immediate solutions. Yet, the reality of life is that not everything will be clear or predictable. Confusion and uncertainty are inevitable. The question is not whether we will face confusion, but how we respond when it comes. Trusting Allah in these moments means believing that every twist, turn, and obstacle has a purpose. It means understanding that the difficulties we encounter are not meaningless, but part of a larger divine plan designed for our benefit, even if we cannot see it yet. True trust in Allah requires patience, humility, and surrender. It requires recognizing that our knowledge is limited, our vision is short, and our understanding is often clouded by emotions. When we try to control everything or insist on immediate clarity, we risk overlooking the wisdom that lies in uncertainty. Confusion can serve as a reminder to let go of arrogance, to accept our limitations, and to rely on Allah's infinite knowledge. It teaches us that even when the path is unclear, guidance is always available to those who seek it sincerely through prayer, reflection, and submission. Trusting Allah during confusing times also strengthens resilience. When challenges arise and the way forward is uncertain, the natural response may be fear or despair. However, placing trust in Allah equips the heart with courage and the mind with clarity. It allows a person to move forward with conviction, even when every step feels uncertain. Trust transforms anxiety into patience, despair into hope, and indecision into purposeful action. The believer learns to navigate uncertainty with calmness, knowing that Allah's wisdom governs the outcome. Another key aspect is that confusion often serves as a spiritual test. Allah tests the hearts of His servants, not to punish them, but to measure their reliance on Him. When faced with ambiguity, the one who trusts Allah demonstrates true faith. This trust is reflected not only in prayer, but also in conduct, attitude, and decisions. Even when outcomes are unknown, a person who trusts Allah acts with integrity, patience, and reliance on divine guidance. Such trust becomes a source of strength, enabling one to endure hardship with dignity and faithfulness. Confusion can also be a path to clarity when approached with trust. Sometimes the very act of surrendering our worries and uncertainties to Allah allows solutions and insights to emerge naturally. By releasing the pressure to control every detail, the mind and heart become receptive to signs, guidance, and opportunities that were previously hidden. Trust does not mean inactivity. It means combining effort with reliance, making choices while leaving results in Allah's hands. This balance between action and trust is central to navigating life's uncertainties successfully. Furthermore, trusting Allah during confusion deepens spiritual connection. It encourages frequent reflection, sincere dua, and mindfulness of His presence. A heart that places confidence in Allah amidst uncertainty becomes attuned to His signs, aware of His wisdom, and responsive to His guidance. Over time, this trust transforms confusion from a source of fear into a source of spiritual growth. Each challenging moment becomes a reminder that Allah is always near, that He controls all outcomes, and that nothing occurs without purpose. Ultimately, trusting Allah in times of confusion nurtures unwavering faith. It teaches that clarity and certainty are not prerequisites for reliance. Rather, faith is demonstrated in how one responds when certainty is absent. When a believer entrusts their path, their decisions, and their heart to Allah despite uncertainty, they embody true submission. Confusion then ceases to be a burden and becomes an opportunity, a divine reminder that Allah's wisdom surpasses human understanding, His timing is perfect, and His guidance is ever present. By embracing trust in Allah during times of confusion, a person cultivates patience, resilience, humility, and spiritual maturity. They learn that life's uncertainties are not obstacles to faith, but avenues for it. Every confusing moment, every unanswered question, and every unclear path is an invitation to rely on the one who knows best. Through this trust, believers find peace in the unknown, strength in trials, and certainty in the one whose knowledge and wisdom encompass all things. In this way, confusion transforms from a source of doubt into a catalyst for deeper faith, guiding the heart closer to Allah and reinforcing the belief that everything unfolds according to His perfect plan. Hardships are an inevitable part of life, yet they hold within them a profound purpose when viewed through the lens of faith. Often, human beings perceive difficulties as obstacles, punishments, or random misfortunes. We question why they occur and wish they would disappear quickly. However, in the Islamic understanding of life, hardships are not meaningless. They are divine instruments used by Allah to redirect us toward what is truly beneficial for our souls. Every challenge, setback, or struggle carries a lesson designed to guide us, purify us, and bring us closer to Him. Recognizing this shifts our perspective from despair to understanding, from frustration to acceptance, and from aimless worry to purposeful patience. When we experience difficulties, we are often forced to pause, reflect, and reassess our paths. It is human nature to continue along familiar trajectories, even when they may not be aligned with our best interests. Hardship acts as a divine intervention, halting us from actions or relationships that could ultimately harm us. Perhaps a career we pursued relentlessly was not meant for us, or a friendship that ended caused pain but later revealed its true protection. By facing hardships, we are gently nudged to reconcile our priorities, examine our intentions, and embrace paths that are more beneficial spiritually, emotionally, and morally. One of the most profound lessons of hardship is the cultivation of patience, known in Islam as Sabr. Patience is not merely the ability to endure, it is the conscious choice to remain steadfast and hopeful while trusting in Allah's wisdom. Every challenge provides an opportunity to exercise patience, to rely on Allah, and to grow in faith. The pain we endure is temporary, but the spiritual strength developed through patience lasts a lifetime. Those who embrace hardships with faith learn to approach life's trials with courage rather than fear, gratitude rather than resentment, and trust rather than despair. Hardships also reveal the hidden blessings in our lives. Often we fail to recognize what we already possess until it is threatened or taken away. A financial struggle may awaken appreciation for simple provisions. A difficult relationship may highlight the love and support of family or friends. An illness may deepen our awareness of health and the fragility of life. By confronting difficulties, we are trained to value what truly matters, to detach from superficial desires, and to focus on spiritual and moral growth. These lessons help us live with greater gratitude, mindfulness, and humility. Sometimes hardships serve as redirection rather than punishment. We may desire a particular outcome or pursue a specific goal, yet Allah allows difficulties to intervene because a different path holds greater benefit. What initially appears as disappointment or failure may in fact be a blessing in disguise. By redirecting our paths, Allah ensures that we are guided toward opportunities, relationships, and circumstances that align with our long-term good and spiritual development. Recognizing this requires faith, awareness, and a willingness to trust His infinite wisdom, even when immediate circumstances are challenging. Hardships also strengthen our reliance on Allah and our spiritual resilience. When everything seems to fall apart, when worldly means fail, and when human support is limited, we turn to Allah as our ultimate source of help and solace. This reliance nurtures a deeper connection to Him, reminding us that while life is temporary and unpredictable, divine guidance and mercy are constant. The heart that learns to seek comfort, strength, and hope from Allah during hardships becomes resilient, composed, and capable of navigating future trials with confidence and faith. Moreover, enduring difficulties cultivates empathy and compassion. When we experience pain, struggle, and uncertainty, we become more attuned to the suffering of others. We develop sensitivity, understanding, and kindness, realizing that hardship is a universal part of the human experience. Through personal trials, a believer gains the ability to support, guide, and inspire others, thereby fulfilling a broader purpose of mercy and connection in the community. Hardship, therefore, is not only a personal lesson, but also a means of creating positive impact beyond oneself. Ultimately, hardships are a mechanism for transformation. They challenge the heart, test patience, refine character, and draw us closer to Allah. They teach that not every desire aligns with what is truly best for us, and that life's temporary struggles are often instruments of long-term spiritual and moral gain. By recognizing the purpose behind hardships, believers learn to approach life with hope, resilience, and trust, understanding that Allah's wisdom governs every difficulty and every moment. In essence, hardships are not punishments, they are opportunities. They redirect, refine, and guide the believer to what is beneficial, protect them from unseen harm, and cultivate qualities that elevate the soul. Embracing hardships with faith allows one to see beyond immediate discomfort, to uncover hidden blessings, and to realize that every trial carries a divine message. The believer who understands this faces life's challenges with patience, gratitude, and trust, knowing that through every difficulty, Allah is shaping a path toward goodness, spiritual growth, and ultimate fulfillment. By internalizing this truth, hardship transforms from a source of despair into a powerful tool for guidance, purpose, and closeness to Allah. Recognizing Allah's signs can be one of the most transformative experiences in a believer's life. Many people live their entire lives unaware of the subtle messages, guidance, and wisdom that Allah places around them. We often search for signs in extraordinary or dramatic ways, expecting life-changing events or clear miracles to confirm Allah's presence. Yet the reality is that His signs are woven into the ordinary moments, hidden within the patterns of life, and manifest through experiences that at first may seem insignificant. The ability to see, understand, and act upon these signs can completely change a person's perspective, choices, and ultimately their destiny. Allah communicates with His servants constantly, but the language He uses is subtle. He may guide through feelings of unease or comfort, coincidences that lead to reflection, or obstacles that redirect our paths. Sometimes a closed door is a sign of protection. Sometimes a delay is a sign that something better awaits. Sometimes a recurring thought, a sudden insight, or an event that makes us pause is a sign that Allah is gently calling our attention. Recognizing these signs requires mindfulness, awareness, and a sincere heart. It requires training the soul to see beyond the surface, to interpret life with the understanding that nothing happens without purpose, and to trust that every experience carries meaning. One of the most powerful outcomes of recognizing Allah's signs is clarity. Life is full of confusion, distractions, and decisions that can overwhelm the heart and mind. By paying attention to divine guidance, even in subtle forms, a believer can gain insight into the right path. Signs can help discern between what is beneficial and what is harmful, what is temporary and what is lasting. They help align decisions with spiritual goals, moral values, and divine wisdom. When a person begins to notice these signs, choices become clearer, priorities become sharper, and life takes on a sense of purpose that goes beyond the pursuit of immediate desires or societal expectation. Recognizing Allah's signs also fosters trust and reliance on Him. When we begin to see how events, people, and circumstances serve as guidance, we learn to depend less on our own understanding and more on Allah's wisdom. Trust deepens because we realize that every situation, no matter how challenging or confusing, carries intention. Even mistakes and setbacks can be interpreted as lessons or guidance. By acknowledging these signs, believers cultivate a mindset that sees Allah's presence in every aspect of life, reinforcing faith even during times of uncertainty, fear, or hardship. Moreover, recognizing signs strengthens gratitude and spiritual awareness. Life's signs often highlight blessings we may have overlooked, lessons we needed to learn, or protection we would not have understood without them. A moment of insight, a timely encounter, or a seemingly coincidental event can awaken awareness of Allah's mercy and care. This awareness transforms ordinary living into a conscious, reflective experience where gratitude becomes natural and every action and decision is filtered through the lens of divine guidance. The heart becomes attuned to blessings, protection, and lessons, fostering humility, patience, and sincerity. Recognizing Allah's signs can also be a catalyst for transformation. Once a person begins to notice and respond to these messages, it changes how they live. They become more careful with their decisions, more mindful of their actions, and more deliberate in seeking what is pleasing to Allah. The signs guide behavior, reshape intentions, and encourage spiritual development. They are not merely informative, they are transformative. By acting on the guidance they reveal, believers align their lives with divine wisdom, avoiding harm, pursuing righteousness, and achieving a deeper sense of peace and purpose. Importantly, recognizing signs requires both observation and reflection. It is not enough to see events unfold, one must reflect on their meaning. Consider their implications and align responses with faith. This reflection strengthens the heart and mind, teaching discernment and insight. The believer learns to distinguish between mere coincidence and deliberate guidance, between temptation and instruction, and between fleeting desires and lasting values. The practice of recognizing signs fosters a continuous cycle of awareness, reflection, action, and growth, drawing the believer closer to Allah at every step. Ultimately, recognizing Allah's signs empowers a person to live a purposeful life. It illuminates the path, even in the midst of uncertainty. It provides reassurance when doubts arise, guidance when decisions are difficult, and inspiration when motivation wanes. Every sign is a reminder that Allah is present, attentive, and actively guiding the believer's journey. By understanding and responding to these signs, a person transforms confusion into clarity, trials into lessons, and ordinary moments into profound opportunities for spiritual growth. In conclusion, recognizing Allah's signs is a key to transforming life from aimlessness to purpose, from doubt to trust, and from distraction to focus. It strengthens faith, cultivates patience, inspires gratitude, and guides actions in alignment with divine wisdom. Those who train their hearts and minds to see these signs are able to navigate life with confidence, clarity, and trust, knowing that Allah's presence is constant, His guidance is precise, and every moment carries meaning. By embracing the signs, a believer's life is transformed into a journey of awareness, growth, and closeness to Allah, where every experience becomes an opportunity to connect with Him and follow the path He has designed with perfect knowledge and infinite wisdom.